morning, everyone. It is fantastic to see the lights and kind of see you out there. Thank you, Glennis, for that land acknowledgement. Also, our MCs, Hashim and Kirsten, for kicking us off just right. I'd also like to personally welcome you all to the 2023 Code for America Summit. Let's get cheering again. I also just want to give a shout out to everyone, and I know Hashim and Kirsten did this earlier, but a shout out to everyone that made this possible. It's a ton of hard work, a lot of content committee working really hard, and I just get to wake up every day and work with these amazing people at Code for America and the broader ecosystem. And if there's anything that the pandemic has taught me, is that putting something like this together, a gathering in person, is something I'll never take for granted again. So it's great to be back on this stage with all of you in DC in person. You know, I want to talk about the important gathering we have today. As I look around the room, I see old friends. We get to catch up with new friends. We get to share our challenges and our big wins. And I hope over the next couple of days, we also have a few laughs together as well. I'm also inspired by the theme of this year's summit, showing what's possible in a changing world, because there's a lot that has changed over the last year. And what's exciting is that over the next 2 days, you're going to hear all kinds of stories about what is possible in counties and cities and states and around the world. And so what I thought I'd do in my remarks is talk a little bit about what has happened in the civic tech, in the context of the civic tech community at large. So to do that, I thought I would do what a lot of people are doing these days, which when you have a question, you go and you ask ChatGPT. So I asked, what was civic tech 10 years ago? And here's what it told me. It was a new concept, a niche. It was about creating ways for more people to connect with their government. That sounds about right. And then when I asked, what is civic technology today? It said it's about the use of technology to improve civic engagement, government transparency, and public service. Essentially, civic tech has become mainstream, explicitly using digital tools to improve service delivery and saying out loud that civic tech has the potential to change the relationship between government and people, making it more transparent, yes, making it more transparent, participatory, and responsive to people's needs. Every single one of us is here today because we believe in that potential. Finally, I asked it, what will civic tech look like 10 years from now? Now, there's a lot of tech in that answer, from AI to machine learning to blockchain to augmented reality. There are also privacy and security concerns. It names equity and inclusion. And we've made huge strides in equity and inclusion, but ChatGPT rightfully states that we have much, much further to go. Now, there's something missing in all of those answers, which is civic tech from those early days till now has been defined by the people who care about it. Because we know that bringing technology and government together can be a powerful force for good. But it's only as good as the people behind it. If we aren't integrating technology and government in the right ways, we may end up harming people rather than helping them. And I know you've seen those conversations on AI today. Last year when we held this conference, we were just beginning to gather again. And at the time, the headlines were making the claim that digital transformation was here to stay in the private sector. When it came to the public sector, I kept getting asked the questions by reporters and investors. Will government return to the way it was? This room, then and now, believes and made sure that the civic tech sector could transform too. So any of those folks that had questions about the public sector, over the last year, we've put that to rest. For me, I knew something had really changed when we, and I mean really the collective we, were invited to participate in a meeting at the White House. To be more specific, we were invited into the Roosevelt Room. As a former Hill staffer, I like to call it the room where it really happens. It's right next to the Oval Office, without windows so that people can focus on the work. And there's a long table, long expansion table right in the center, so that it can include all different perspectives. It's that table where strategy gets set, plans get written, and leaders together wrestle with what is possible. And that's exactly what we did. On one side of the table, state leaders from California, Colorado, Connecticut, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Michigan, Virginia, and Washington State shared their perspectives on the front lines. And groups like Aspen, Code for America, Sevilla, New America, Beck, and BDT were part of the stories of what is possible. And on the other side of the table, remember I said it was a long table, on the other side of the table, taking notes and listening closely, were federal leaders from OMB, HHS, Treasury, GSA, USDA, USDS, and the President's Office. As the Q&A went around, the message was the same. There are some new and amazing tech tools and strategies so that government can serve people better. But at the end of the day, the work depends on a culture of caring. Leaders who deeply care about the relationship between people and government, those who care about equity and inclusion so that no one is left out, and bringing all of us together, all the different perspectives in this room who make up this ecosystem, squeezed around that table to make government work well for everyone. There was no doubt for me or anyone in that room that transformation was here to stay in government, and there is still so much possibility. So here's what I'll ask of you these next 2 days. One, let's reflect on how far we've come as a civic tech community in the past decade. Let's share the toughest challenges and our biggest wins that we're seeing today. Let's make sure we're having thoughtful, forward-looking conversations about where we want to go in the future. And no matter how fast tech and data and AI moves, let's never forget to take the time to care about the world we're creating and for whom we create it. It has never been more true to say that how we care, and I mean we as a collective community, and who we care about will determine how we show what's possible in the next 10 years to truly create a government that works for everyone. So thank you for being here at Summit, and I'm so excited to learn from you all today.